All right.
Okay, do I have to hit okay? I guess so. Okay, let's rock this. Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to this week's class. So this week's class is all about taking ownership over a lot of the ubiquitous condiments. That aisle in, your favorite grocery store where you're getting your dressings, you're getting maybe your clarified butter, you're buying your jarred mayonnaise. Like I grew up eating jarred mayonnaise. It was years before I realized you could make your own. And the evolution of those staples probably went from pretty good, the origin story of these products that were making our lives easier. And over the years, the decades, this last century, they've really just fallen off a cliff in terms of quality. And a lot of these products are just honestly guilty of kind of wreaking havoc on our health. Okay. And I think that this aisle in particular is a great exercise to really take ownership over our kitchens, over our health, over the kind of world around food that we're creating for our families and for ourselves. And for me, making things with our hands, passing on the skills to the next generation, to our kids, to know how to make these things, just like our parents and grandparents, maybe our grandparents all knew how to do, I think is really essential. I think it's important. And I think we're in danger of losing it if we don't take the bull by the horns and keep these traditions alive. And what you get, the ROI on this is you get to have much better products, right? You get to have the best mayonnaise in the world. You get to have the best dressings. They're fresher, they're more delicious. You know the ingredients. You get to buy the olive oil instead of the product that has olive oil without any idea of the quality of that oil or olive oil, right? And that's not to say that there aren't cool companies making cool products that are better, but I think it's really important and worth our time to dive in. That's why we're doing this today. Okay. So without further ado, let's make some mayonnaise. Okay. And if you have any questions, feel free to jump in the chat. Ashley's with us. And Ashley will ping me if there are any questions. So, don't be shy to pop in with questions and concerns as we're going. Okay. So mayonnaise. We could do this by hand, but I've shown you that on Instagram. I'm going to do this with a stick blender. Okay. If you don't have a stick blender, that's fine. You could also use a food processor. You could use a blender. The same concepts apply. Okay. And we're going to walk through those as we go. So, mayonnaise. All right. We're going to start with an egg. This is a beautiful pasture raised egg from my friends at Shertail Creek. I'm in love with these guys. Gorgeous practices. Look at that gorgeous orange yolk. My gosh. You could do the whole egg if you wanted to. Most often, we're just using the yolk. Okay. So from there, I'm going to add a little bit of my Redmond's real salt. We're going to season this. Okay. And start with some, eyeball it. Afterwards, we're going to taste it and see where we're going or see where we are at the end. Dijon mustard. Okay. So Dijon mustard is going to flavor this beautifully. It's also going to help act as an emulsifier. Okay. So what are we doing with mayonnaise? What are we doing with a vinaigrette? We're taking fat and we're taking water, two molecules that don't like to hang out with each other unless they've got something to kind of, cultivate their friendship, right? And so lecithin, which exists in the egg yolk, and to some extent the mustard, help kind of bind those molecules and let them hang out together, right? So that's where you can think of your broken vinaigrette versus your emulsified, which we'll talk about in a second. So we've got salt, we've got Dijon. We could add some smashed garlic here and go kind of the aioli route. We need something acidic, okay? And I like lemon. You could use different vinegars. Distilled vinegar is often what you're getting in the store. There's some seeds in here, so I'm just going to use my hand. And I'm going to start with just a little bit. We can always add more. Okay. So there's our base. I also like to have just a little pinch of water. Just a little bit to kind of stretch it and make it a little bit more. Now, hot topic, what oil, what fat to use in your mayonnaise, okay? When you're buying the store-bought, most often it's like a canola oil or sunflower oil, a highly refined seed oil. They use toxic chemicals to extract them and to make them shelf stable. They're very volatile. They'll oxidize at high temperatures, and they're just, I think they're terrible for the human body. They're not meant for the human body, okay? So basically, we're just kind of skipping over the last number of decades where these things were invented, right? And going back to the OG fats, right? The extra virgin olive oil, you could use animal fats here. You could use bacon fat that you have left over from breakfast, right? And keep it around 100, 105 degrees and then slowly pour that in. I really like extra virgin olive oil, okay? You can use a milder one, test out different brands that kind of make sense for your mayonnaise, but I like a strong, delicious mayonnaise. You could use avocado oil. I'm kind of up in the air with avocado oil. I don't really know if it's great for my body. I honestly don't know. But if you're going to use it, go for organic, go for the virgin ones, okay? Because even avocado oils can be highly refined, right? And maybe not so good. Okay, so from here, here's the idea. We've got our base, right? I'm going to mix that base. If this is in a bowl with a whisk, you're just going to start here. I like to kind of tip it because it's not a big amount. Okay, and then we're going to slowly add our fat. Okay, at the very beginning, we're going to start very slowly to kind of build that structure. Okay, so I'm just going to go a little, I'm going to kind of tilt it. So we're just going to go drop by drop. You guys have seen me do this. My sons are watching over here. You guys can pop in if you want. I almost wish I had done 2 just to get us started. Whoop. You like that sound? So I'm going to go a little bit faster as we're going. Now, I've done this before, and I've broken it by accident, and I've had to show you how to fix a broken mayonnaise, which is very cool, but I don't think that's going to happen this time. So it's getting, I'm going to stop and show you. So we're starting to get nice thickness. Okay, it's looking nice and velvety. We can tell it's working. Okay, so we're almost there. Now, 1 egg yolk can hold about 3/4 to a cup of oil, okay, which is a good amount of oil, right? When we're talking about cost, you can actually get quite a bit. That's why I like to, depending on the size of the egg yolk, of course, right? So when I'm doing this at home, I do this much faster, to be honest. So here we've got a beautiful thick mayonnaise, okay? I'm just going to show you. And you could do it thicker, thinner, okay? We're going to taste it for seasoning. I've got my spoon vein over here. You can see also just like how beautiful that structure is, okay? That beautiful mayonnaise-y look, right? But I got to taste it. Strong. Strong olives, yummy. Assertive, punchy. I want garlic in this, but actually the balance is really nice. You want to taste it too, are you? Yeah. I want to dip a tallow fried potato. Yeah. Strong. Okay, so there's your mayonnaise. Okay, that's it. Now, of course, this is the base, right? You could season this in different ways. You could add some harissa. You could add different herbs, right? Build from here. This is just your basic mayonnaise, all right? And that's it. That's all it is to making your own mayonnaise, okay? I guarantee you, I could not have gone to the store 10 minutes away and come back in the same time that it took to just make enough mayonnaise for dinner, right? Now, one thing about extra virgin olive oil, it gets very weird stored in the fridge, right? Because good olive oil will congeal in cold temperatures, okay? So it's not exactly that it breaks necessarily because I've had olive oil in the fridge for a few days and it's fine, but it definitely changes texture. So it's the kind of thing that I like to just use and make, okay? So burger night, when we do burger night, I'll just whip up a quick batch, 5 minutes, and we've got mayonnaise, okay? So that's that. I'm gonna pop this in the fridge quick. I think we have good timing. And so now let's move to vinaigrettes, okay? I'm gonna pop this guy away. So vinaigrettes, guys, like I love a nice fresh homemade dressing. I think dressings, right? And gosh, I mean, you can go anywhere you want, any part of the globe. We're just thinking salad dressing here, but we're kind of go through a few kind of classics, okay? Like that kind of classic, like French bistro vinaigrette that we imagine. with Dijon, some shallots, some herbs, some nice vinegar and olive oil. And I'm just going to show you how I like to do that, okay? Speaking of shallots, I feel like they're just underused, underappreciated in America. And I kind of am on a mission to bring them back, okay? They're just really special, really elegant. I know I use that word a lot. And I love cutting across and having the whole rings, right? And you could do that in this vinaigrette. But here I'm just going to show you how to quickly chop. I'm going to cut this guy in half. Okay. Now I'm going to actually go just kind of in half one way. Hobbs, if you ever want to come closer, I got a cameraman today. If you ever want to come closer and just kind of come in and get any shots, feel free. I don't think anyone's going to mind. So I'm going to go there. I'm going to go down. I go kind of towards myself here, and then I'm going to go across there. If you were part of knife skills class or watched the recording, same idea with that small dice of onion. It's just basically a small onion, okay? So look at that gorgeous dice. This is going to add that little pop, that little texture, of course, because you're biting into an onion, but that kind of savory punch, right? And a sweetness, but also that sharpness of the onion. It's going to be gorgeous in this, right? So from here, you could add more, but just for the sake of showing you guys, I'm going to go here. I'm going to add some nice, fresh, cracked black pepper. Okay. And I'm going to go back to my Dijon. Speaking of France, so this is some French Dijon mustard. France just makes the best mustard. Dijon being a city in France, right, guys? Where I would love to go. Okay, so we got our mustard, we got our shallots, we got some black pepper. Let's season it with some of our Redmond's real salt. I usually work from a bin, but I like to just shout out to my friends in Utah. I love them and their salt. Okay, we could definitely add egg yolk here too if we want. Deep nutrition and a gorgeous egg yolk. Should I add an egg yolk or no? Yeah, you want me to add an egg yolk? We're doing egg yolk, guys. My sons want to see it. Okay, let's do it. I'm gonna get another egg, excuse me. Hi, Ariel. Yeah, we got our shirt tail egg yolk. I'm gonna add Are you guys having fun over there? This is another way to separate, guys. You can go right to your hand. Just wanted to show that method. Okay. Egg yolk. I love that. I love raw eggs from a local farm that I know and trust. I feel amazing putting a raw egg in my smoothies or in a glass of raw milk with some really good whey protein from like Heart and Soil or Lineage. Okay. All right. So what else do we need in our vinaigrette? We need an acid and we need a fat, right? And this is where we're going to go back to, actually not back to, but we're going to hit up some red wine vinegar, okay? I love red wine vinegar. Adds really nice color. I'm going to start just the same principle as our mayonnaise, right? Same principle. I'm going to build that structure at the beginning. And the egg yolk is going to help this, okay? So I'm just going to shake, though, and show you that you don't need to create a bunch of dishes. Cutting board, knife, and a ball jar, okay? So nice shake. This is so fun to do with your kids. You guys want to shake the ball jar? No? Ariel, do you want to shake a ball jar? Yeah? Come on over here. Let's show them how you shake it. Come on. Here we go. Okay,
we have to welcome Catherine back. Hi, Catherine. Nice to see you again.
You can hold it with two hands and just shake it. Yeah, nice. Good work. Okay, thank you for your help.
Here.
You can keep watching. Again. Okay. All right. So now, and this is where I'm okay with this breaking. You want to come back up? Okay, it's okay. Come back up. But we can add a little bit by little. But this is actually going to hold for when we're going to use it just by aggressively shaking it now. Okay. I'm going to shake it again. Did we add black pepper? I can't remember. Okay. So there is our beautiful, I mean, absolutely stunning. Nice color, looks that creamy kind of, well, I was going to say Dijon for the color, actually. That nice kind of, almost like retro yellow. Really beautiful. I want more cracked pepper, I think. And for the fun of it, I have this dried mint that I love dried mint. I'm just going to kind of play with that a little bit. Okay. Oh, yeah. some fresh thyme, some fresh oregano. I've got a bunch of herbs that would work in here. Some fresh oregano right here, some fresh dill would be really nice. But I also love adding those things like the dill into the salads themselves or whatever I'm kind of building. So, all right, let's taste this one. Okay, got our spoon here. Delicious. It's so delicious. So I want to like make a frisee salad or something with bacon lardons and a poached egg. That's what I want to do. So here's vinaigrette. Here's dressing number one. We're gonna go down the line. One thing I skipped over. Really, there's a ratio that you can reliably come back to over and over, and it's about a 3-to-1 ratio. 3-to-1 being, so that first part, one, being the vinegar or the acid, okay, and the three being your fat, the olive oil, okay? So that was about a 3-to-1 ratio. Now, when we move to our balsamic, I find that it's kind of like 2-to-1, and you'll see that in a second, but you can always remember that, not just eyeball it. So, if you wanted to do like a third of a cup, you're making your big batch, third of a cup vinegar, 2/3 of a cup olive oil, right? Okay, so yeah, there's vinaigrette. I'm sorry, a third of a cup and a cup it would be for your 3-to-1. Okay, so balsamic next, and I love doing balsamic. I personally like both a broken and a not broken. So just to show you how quickly and how insanely simple making a balsamic vinaigrette, you could do nothing else but olive oil and balsamic, and it would be really good, right? So there's your one. And then here's kind of like double because balsamic has like a sweetness, and I find kind of a more gentle acidity than some other vinegars or lemon juice. So sometimes you can get away with that 2-to-1 ratio. You can go back to your freshly ground pepper. I love, by the way, Telly cherry peppers, peppercorns. I get them from Frontier Co-op. Switch these caps. And I love Frontier Co-op, by the way, because all their spices are not irradiated, right? So they're very alive. So there's our balsamic, our black pepper. What are we forgetting, guys? Our salts, Redmond's, and we have another lemon we're gonna do for other things probably. Another opportunity to shake. Okay, so now just a little movement here. You can see it's broken still. Now I love seeing that on a plate. Imagine a plate with just like the dollops of vinegar kind of suspended in that beautiful olive oil drizzled around, I don't know, like some grilled asparagus or something, right? There's a lot of virtue in that, right? Or you can shake it, right? And you can have it on your table and people can do this by themselves and reshake to re-emulsify. You could definitely have a yolk in here, and then you're going to get that creamy kind of emulsified look, right? And same things apply here, guys. Balsamic vinaigrette, you could have done the same exact thing as the other with shallots, some mustard, and it's going to emulsify much more, okay? But look how painfully simple it is. So then, instead of buying balsamic dressing in the store, right? You just have the ingredients at home. You've got good balsamic, you've got your olive oil, which you can do with other things, right? Add your vinegar to a nice marinade for skirt steak or something, right? Like a balsamic and maple or honey marinade for grilled chicken, or like just having the raw ingredients gives us so much more flexibility and just control over our kitchen, over our domains, right? Okay, so 1, 2 down. I want to label these later and have a nice picture hops. So now we're going to get into ranch. Now, ranch, that's just the idea of like when I hear the word ranch, for some reason I cringe a little bit because it has this feeling of like kind of like cheap, I don't know, like 70s, 80s, like ranch. I have this image of like Pizza Hut takeout and someone dipping ranch dressing or pizza in their ranch dressing. But it doesn't have to be that way. There's actually virtue in that savory, creamy yumminess that is kind of a beloved flavor profile, especially in the States, right? So this is an example of how we can make a really delicious version of that and kind of reclaim what it could be, right? Or what it once was, perhaps, right? Okay, so ranch dressing. I'm going to remind myself I was going to do sour cream and I was going to do buttermilk with this guy. And there are kind of a couple ingredients that are kind of important. Oh, yes. And actually, I'm going to grab one of them right now. You want to say hi quickly, Ariel?
Say hi to the camera.
Hi.
You got two Instagram viewers and you got some on the live.
Hi.
So here we go. Here's one and here's two. Okay. So I love using the raw ingredients, right? But some dried things like dried onion and dried garlic, I'm most often not going to the well with these things, right? Most often I'm using onions themselves, I'm using garlic itself. But there is a pop of interesting aroma and flavor happening in the dried versions of these things as long as they're really good quality. So here's an example of Frontier Co-op, guys, which I love. It's just dehydrated onion, all right? So I'm gonna build, wow, it's strong, but actually a really nice sweet, almost smells like roasted onions or shallots, okay? So I'm just gonna add a little bit here as a base. I'm gonna add our garlic, but of course we could do a caramelized onion with this and add that as a base. And instead of garlic powder, we could definitely use our garlic paste that we learned in our Night Skills class as well. Okay. Okay, so from here, we're gonna add our dairy. So good culture sour cream or your own homemade sour cream. That's something that I would love to do with you guys someday soon.
Amy said she wants a new name for ranch dressing.
That's a really good call, Amy. I'm gonna have to, I don't, on the fly, I mean, how would you redescribe savory? It's like onion, garlic. I'm thinking onion, garlic, herb. What would be a good rancho dressing? Kind of sounds nicer right off the bat. What do you think, Hobbs?
A new name.
New name for ranch. Let's think about that. Let's shelf it for a second.
Yeah, let me load on it.
So I'm gonna add a nice couple spoonfuls of sour cream, but this is gonna be too thick, right? And again, I'm using our ball jar example. Cracked pepper, herbs. I really want dill in here. I want beautiful fresh dill. Guys, oh my God, if you're not buying dill and using it, I urge you to pick up fresh dill. Some people, for some reason, aren't big fans. This is gorgeous local dill. Oh my God, it smells amazing. My wife is from Poland. And for some reason, this just like smells like her mom's cooking. It's very kind of that Eastern European vibe with fresh dill, but it just smells so unique and vibrant. It immediately gets my taste buds just moving. Okay, that beautiful fresh dill aroma. You smell that? I want all of this dill in here. Beautiful dill. Okay. Now let's thin this out. I got some really gorgeous buttermilk here. All right. So there's richness and fat and tang from that sour cream. Okay. But we're going to add some of this. Look, this is also, look how thick this buttermilk is. It's even like, it's like kefir. You want to taste it? Here. You're going to have a buttermilk mustache.
No harm in that.
What do you think? Yummy? We haven't added salt yet. And I still want some lemon juice in this, okay? Lemon juice. And I think we might even need to thin this out even more, perhaps even with a little bit of water. You know, I sometimes think we forget that water is there for us to play with sometimes, and sometimes things just need a little bit of kind of stretching. Good old water. Okay, I'm gonna add that as lemon. We can come back to it and see if we need more. Okay? And I think that's gonna be, oh, one thing that I forgot is our mayonnaise. Okay, so when we designed this class, I wanted to use this as an example. Look how gorgeous, this nice spoonful of mayonnaise, okay? So let's see what we got here once we shake this. Oh, I got the old choice ring on a ball jar. This is one of my pet peeves in the kitchen. You know, there's two different kinds of ball jars. Right? There's the ball jar and then there's the choice brand. And they don't fit on each other's lids and it drives me bananas. Okay, so quick little wipe down. I'm gonna give this a nice shake. Oh yeah, it already looks so beautiful with the dill suspended in there. That gorgeous kind of like ranchy effect. I think this is actually gonna be a nice texture. Let's see. Nice consistency. Yeah, yeah, I think that looks good. So that nice kind of, we could thicken this maybe a little bit, maybe a little more sour cream, but I think this is gonna be actually gorgeous. I gotta taste it though. needs salt, and it needs pepper. And it actually could use more fat. And wants more garlic. I really want to add, I want fresh garlic in here. You know what? I want some shallot too. It needs some punch. Okay, so I'm going to update this recipe. We need more. And I'm okay with a good amount of shallot. It's going to really wake this up. I also got this fresh mint here. Oh, I know what I forgot. Chives, guys. Chives. This is where it's going to be at. I was missing that oniony punch, and I forgot about our chives. Now, we might as well take care of this and do a little mini knife skill lesson. I want to make sure you can see this well and not be distracted. Chives are really a good litmus test for the sharpness of our knives, right? And there's definitely a layer of skill here. We just kind of clean up our seam. This, okay? So take your time. You want a nice bundle like this, okay? And you can rock the knife or just raise and go down and forward and take your time. And you can do them as big as small as you want. You could do bigger kind of like batons, 1 inch or so pieces to garnish something. Or you could do these beautiful fine, or you can also rock, okay? That's probably enough for here. And these chives are gonna pop, they're gonna add great color. Also, I feel like so few people are using fresh chives in their cooking. It's just not one of those things that is ubiquitous at our grocery stores in the States, right? And in other countries, they're still so present. And it's a missed opportunity. Look where when you add those chives, immediately you get that oniony pop. I love it. I want more sour cream, but I want a little more thickness here, believe it or not. Okay, this would be so good on like a skirt or flank steak salad I made last week with a blue cheese dressing, actually. Okay, there it is. Oh yeah, more velvety, better texture. I'm gonna grab another spoon.
Maybe still wondering about another name for ranch. If you thought of
What do we
anything,
got? Anyone have any ideas?
I
That's
would just put it
gorgeous.
as farmhouse ranch. This takes a little more farm to table. That's a simple name. But if we're looking for a whole different name, I like farmhouse ranch. That's
One more pinch of salt. It takes a good amount of salt. There's a good amount of dairy in here. There's a good amount of acidity because everything in here has acid. That buttermilk, the sour cream has a tang. The lemon we added, it's there now. Okay, there we go. So that's 3 dressings. Okay, 3 dressings in a short period of time, and we're taking our time and we're talking. And look, okay, I didn't make more balsamic than I need. Vinaigrette I'm gonna use tonight, and then this course, this will last more than a week. Okay, there's our dressing lineup. Okay, so we've banged out already, guys. We've made mayonnaise. We've made 3 dressings. Imagine if this is 2:33. What did we start? 20 minutes ago? We've already prepped all this stuff for the week, right? This is going to last the whole week. Your dressings are done. Mayonnaise is done. Maybe for dinner tonight with burgers, right? If I can only find the lid to that. Just as this is an example of how quickly you can go, and we're just taking our time again. So the last really fun thing that we're gonna cover today is clarifying of butter, right? Raise your hand if anyone's done this at home. I would love to know. Hobbs, have you ever done this?
I have never done this at home.
Ashley, have you ever clarified butter?
I tried. Now there are people watching on Instagram Live, so just so you know.
All right,
Yeah,
Instagram
viewers.
folks, feel free to chime in.
Yeah. Oh, Amy says, what are your thoughts about adding vinegar to a ranch that has kefir? Some people say it messes with the good components of kefir, like destroys the good bacteria.
Well, that's an interesting thought. I mean, if you were to use raw apple cider vinegar, I wonder how those are going to interact. But if I were going to add vinegar, I would keep that raw too. So at least you're getting the benefit of the raw, like cider vinegar, right? But I'm not sure. I don't know how to answer that exactly. Okay, so butter. This happens to be amazing local butter from Milk King Dairy, grass-fed dairy north of us here in Austin. And I'm going to do, it's funny enough, just yesterday, or was it Tuesday? It was Tuesday. My wife said, "Can we make some more ghee? We're out and I'm wanting to use it." Okay. So all we're going to do here, and I use this camping burner so we don't have to, reposition the camera. Although we're working on that, right, Hobbs?
Yes, sir. We're doing a whole new setup. That's what we're gonna do.
We're gonna build this into a show. It's gonna be awesome.
Green screen and all.
Okay, so feel free to chime in while this is happening because this is gonna be a bit of a process. Okay, so we're gonna melt this butter, right? And we have options. This bowl is gonna be for later. I'm just kind of setting us up, right? I've got a strainer that I'm gonna put here, and there was some cheesecloth over here. Was there a little cloth that you grabbed? Got it. Now, this is not 100% necessary, but to make sure, what we're doing here, guys, is we're separating the milk solids, right, from the pure butter fat, basically, right? So when you buy butter in the store, it's somewhere between 80 and 85. You'll see the European style butters very often that have a higher fat content, which is why they're so creamy and delicious. Like your Kerrygold is a really nice high butter fat content. They're all different, right? But what we're doing here is getting the milk solids out so that we're raising the smoke point of the butter. And potentially, if you have like a dairy allergy or an issue with casein, the protein, you're removing that almost entirely. And very often people that have lactose issues can still have clarified butter or ghee, okay? And so basically, as I understand it, clarified butter is just this process now where we would just gently melt. I'm going a little hotter than I like to. And then skim off the first layer and kind of like carefully just like let it settle and pour off carefully the fat until, just the fat is in the bowl. And very often I would do this like back in the day before service if we were using clarified butter on the line in my restaurant days. But I found that it's more reliable, and I love the flavor of ghee. And the ghee is where we're going to take that further, and you'll see this. And I've got a video that I'll share with you that I did back in the day, where I've got an above shot. So for the Substack subscribers, I'll pop that in the Substack. Okay. So what you can't see right now, and Hobbs, maybe you can get a shot, is I've got this foam coming up, right? Now, I'm going to add that to a different bowl because you don't have to discard that, right? You could add that to dishes, right? And I like to just kind of, as I go, get that. And I actually haven't done it with this butter. I've always used Kerrygold or other butters that I'm getting at the store. So it's going to be fun to see. The color is very different in this butter. It's very white. Okay, I want to bring this down because I don't want to be necessarily going too hot. I find that I kind of like that low and slow is nice, especially at the beginning. Because the boiling is kind of like re-emulsifying it as you go a little bit. But you're just going to take your time. Now, what I like to do is save this, and you could add it to like a bean dish. You could add it to sauce. You could just add it like if you're making a butter sauce. Add it for some flavor. You could put this into a braise. Think like milk braised pork or something like that. Just throw it in there. You get more good stuff. Okay. Smells so good. It's still too hot. So bear with me. Any questions while we're doing this? And you got to be patient with this. Like all your butter is going to be different. How's Instagram going over there? Everyone alive over there?
Yeah,
in the Instagram world?
Yeah, we're getting some viewers. They're coming in and out, but we're gonna ask if anybody has any questions, and with that, we're gonna answer them. So we got 3 viewers now. Make a comment.
So why do we want this, right? What's other than the potential allergens, right? What other reasons? When we say that high smoke point, can we imagine different scenarios where we don't want something to burn, right? So let's say we were going to sear something, right? Imagine we're like searing, let's say a scallop, right? If we add whole butter and get it really, really hot, it's going to start to burn. It's going to smoke and it's going to burn. You can see, by the way, Hobbs, if you have the bandwidth, you can start to see the clarification happen. You start to see we've got some settling there. And this is a point where I could just shut the heat off and let this settle for a second and gently pour off, and you've got a quick clarified butter, right? So back to those scallops, you imagine you've got those like little bits of like the milk proteins and sugars burning in the pan, and you're getting little black specks on the scallops, right? So those aren't that sightly potentially, and they're messing with a potential flavor. You're going to get little bits of kind of burning flavor, right? Instead of that gorgeous kind of golden, beautiful caramelization that we want in something like a seared, skin side down salmon fillet or a good steak. Okay, so we've got that. Basically, this is phase one, and we could kill it here again, pour off. But now we're going to go further, and we're just going to keep going. And this is where it's a little bit boring. Okay, so this is our milk solid. Now let's talk a little bit about cost. Hobbs, you love this topic. Hobbs and I were in a grocery store, and we were hanging out, and we were talking about the cost of dressings and vinaigrettes. We were talking about the cost of ghee, yes, right? And the price per ounce, I want to say, we were thinking $25 to like $40 a pound was the ghee in the store, right?
Correct.
Something like that. So think about a pound of butter in the store, depending on it. If you're organic, grass-fed, let's just say Kerrygold, a pound of butter is around $10, $11, right? A lot of like the beloved grass-fed butter lovers, even though it's not, I know it's got its issues, right? But that's a pound. So by buying this in the store, we are more than doubling the cost, potentially like 4x, 5x, 6x, depending on the butter that you're buying, right? And so that's one of the examples. Now, we just had technically loss, right? This weighs something, right? But we don't have to throw this away. We can use it, okay? Right? And this smells really yummy. This actually, I'm going to taste it. Tastes yummy. Like it's delicious, creamy. And actually that milk braised pork idea, I love that idea.
Is that what you do?
Or we could do like a milky, creamy, like sausage ragu with a pasta and have like, actually I want to do that because I've got all that Parmesan. Parmigiano Reggiano was on sale for 50% off. We both hit it up yesterday. All right. So I'm going to do another skim, and this is where you got to be patient. It could be like another 10 minutes, guys. All right. So I'm going to do another skim here. Actually tastes amazing because this is such incredible.
What do you say it tastes similar to?
Butter. This, yeah. I mean, it tastes creamy,
just
but it still tastes buttery and creamy, right? Okay. So what's going to happen now in this next phase is the remaining milk solids are actually going to start to kind of stick to the bottom. And they're going to cook a little bit. And this is what gives ghee kind of a little bit more of that toasty kind of cooked experience, right? Now you could also infuse this right now with some spices. I'm sure there's a tradition with like Ayurveda in adding things to ghee depending on your disposition or what ails you, right? So maybe we can get another shot here. It's like, it can be frustrating. And when you do this the first couple times, you're like, is this working? Is this ever going to happen? Until all of a sudden, it's like the seas parting. You're like, oh, there it goes. Like there it's getting really clear, right? The color's wild on this. It's almost like yellowy, right? So cool. Okay, I'm just going to do the thing. Any questions, Ashley? Are you excited to make this at home? Or Janine? Catherine?
Yeah. Does anyone else have any questions? I don't see any on Instagram.
Okay.
There was some heckling earlier from Amy. I'm just joking. Some great comments.
I love it.
But if anyone else, maybe tell the audience if they have questions, they can ask.
Yeah, if you guys have questions, dive in. It doesn't have to be about clarified butter. It could be your the realm of dressings, mayo questions.
Ask away.
Ashley, did you buy mayonnaise as a kid growing up? Like, was it a
I
pantry
use
staple
mayonnaise with everything,
with
but
everything?
I am a from scratch person. So with my son, I'd always make it myself, like try to, but it's tough with mayo or like the garlic sauce.
Yeah,
To
like aioli.
emulsify is very
Yeah,
hard to
yeah,
do.
yeah, yeah.
Any
It takes a little
tips for
time.
that?
What's that? With
Any tips for that?
the difficulty in it, like the breaking of it.
Yeah, like why is it so
So,
difficult?
yeah, so that came up. So temperature matters. So stone cold eggs out of the fridge actually will have a harder time emulsifying, right? Maybe it was even a cold day too. Like it's harder for the emulsification to happen, the emulsion to happen. That's one thing. Going too fast. So like too much oil too fast. So you haven't built kind of like the beginning of that structure, right? So think about the beginning. You're getting the fat and the water to kind of hang out together and suspend a little bit, right? Right? To become friends, right? If you don't give it a little time, it's you can start to go faster when you've kind of like built that ball of structure, right? If you don't have that structure at the beginning and go fast, it's just going to be a broken mess, and you'll know really early on, if you're broken. Now, if you are broken, you can take that broken mayonnaise, right, which is essentially like a dressing, and you just start over. So you would start from scratch. You would get another egg yolk, more mustard, everything the same, but instead of adding the oil, you would add your broken mayonnaise, and you don't have to think of it as a failure because you're getting two times the amount of mayonnaise by doing this, as long as you don't break it again, right? So then you're just going to take your time and slowly add drop by drop at the beginning. Again, food processor works really well. The immersion blender by hand with a whisk is fine. And then you're just going to keep on going, treating the broken mayonnaise as a vinaigrette, as your oil. And those are honestly, the main points. Okay, we're getting there. It's starting to clarify. I'm not seeing a lot of solids rise to the top. By the way, I do want to give a shout out to this tool here. This is this little fine mesh strainer that I love for this task, but this is what I use, guys, when I'm skimming the foam off of broth, right? If I'm making bone broth at home or stock and that first layer of scum comes up, and you want that more clear, like let's say chicken soup, and it's also just it looks nasty, right? This is what I use. And what I do is I'm going to show you. I'm going to get another bowl. And we're getting there with this. So I'll take a bowl filled with water and I'll get in here into the chicken stock, skim, and then drop. I'm going to do this right here. And actually, we're about to be there. It's also a sound thing. It starts to sound very like peculiar and right. It slows down the noises, the noise, right? And look, we can see hops. I'm gonna actually take this off the heat now. We're getting, and you can smell it. And I don't want to take this too far because then we're gonna have brown butter as I'm talking and kind of segueing. But you can see now the milk solids are toasting at the bottom. I've got this last layer of foam I'm gonna pour off of into the cheesecloth and skim, and then we're gonna have ghee. Okay, you can see that beautiful. It just happens all of a sudden. Okay, I'm gonna skim this. I'm not gonna add, actually, I don't want that water. Okay, one more thing here. And I'm gonna go through our cheesecloth here, guys. And our strainer. Cheesecloth is a funny one. Like I'm always trying to not use too much to save the precious cheesecloth. Okay, we're just gonna pour over this. Well, I'm gonna ladle it because this one doesn't pour so well. Let me just grab a ladle. It's a lot more elegant thing as well. Okay, you can see anything that you don't want, any remaining milk solids usually will get caught up in cheesecloth, guys. Nice hubs. It's really satisfying to do this. And I'm telling you, I just have this feeling of pride doing this for my wife because she just loves having the ghee around. And it feels like such an offering, like such a gift. You can see the bottom of the pan, guys? That's the milk solids kind of toasting. That's going to add aroma. But of course, because they're stuck on the bottom of the pan, that's part of the clarification process, right? So now we've got our ghee, guys. So there's our clarified ghee. All right. So what I like to do here is grab a ball jar. And I think this is actually going to be more than one. And we can, you know what? I'm going to, just in case, grab. Yeah. Maybe there's just almost, yeah, a little bit more. And there's a little bit of that toastiness that came with me at the end in that one. This one's like, actually, look how stunning that is. Okay. There's our ghee. So this easily was like $25, $20 to $25 in the store. This amount, I would say. And we did it for $10, I think. Okay. And then we got this one too. It's a bonus. All right, guys, let's look at our lineup. That's the class for today. Major theme is, oh my God, you can do it better yourself. You can do it faster. You can do it better, more delicious. Yes, you can spend less, even though I think that is a topic that we can talk endlessly about, the cost of food and what we should be, spending on food or investing on food. I personally am happy to invest most of, my income on food, right? Food, travel, having nice things, yes, right? Like nice blankets and sheets. Like, but what else is there in life? I would much rather invest in this and also just like creating ritual, creating, a normalcy around making our own stuff, making our own food.
Standard.
Right?
Set a standard.
Do you like making our own stuff and cooking? Yeah, you appreciate it, right? And it's yummy. And you get to make anything you want. Do you want to say goodbye to the people?
Bye.
Bye. Do you want to hop on? Come here. Come on. Remember we started our first class together when you were like 3 years old?
Oh.
Remember you were so little in Portugal. So little. You can look back on Instagram and see old videos of Rafa and I making sushi and stuff. Remember? Of course. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So that's it.
And thanks
So
everyone for joining. So it's every 2 weeks, and I will follow up with I have everybody's emails, so that's how they're attending. So
amazing. Amazing. And there's recipes that are included. We've got recipes for the vinaigrette, mayo, the clarified butter. We'll have this video, and I'm going to drop in another cool old video. Actually, I think you might be in one of those. An old video of ghee again with like a really cool above shot we'll add as well. So thanks everyone for coming.